Finally, the time that we were all waiting for, EQ mode is now here for the Seestar series, both the S30 and the S50. I'm Hunter from Outten Astrophotography. Join me as we're going to be going through a full test, live test of the new EQ system for the Seestar series. Now, this feature has been hinted for quite some time now, and it is finally here, and I'm very excited to actually get to try this, since some of the other smart telescopes out there and from other brands like Dwarf Lab has an EQ mode as well. Now ZWO has joined the races now, and we're going to be using tonight my S30, since this is the latest one that I have, and using a non-conventional method where a lot of people have been using the Skywatcher like dub plate adapter thing. They have it on a regular tripod. I'm just going to be using a video tripod of mine that's still pretty darn sturdy, and I can lift it up and down and be able to level it to try it out. And I'm very excited to see, because this will be an absolute game changer for a lot of users to be able to use this mode. So we would get rid of the field rotation issues. We'd be able to take longer exposures in general. Be excited to do 30-second exposures, and hopefully maybe down the line we can actually get some longer exposures, possibly up to 60 seconds if we do have some more software updates down the line. But looking at everything in the app, you have to make sure you are updated to the latest version, which is 2.4. If it's not in the App Store yet as of this video, you can just go straight to the Seestar website and be able to download it for iOS or Android and get ready to do that firmware upgrade. And then you're all set to go. You just have to go inside of the settings to be able to enable the EQ mode. And we're going to go step by step through that too once we start getting a little bit closer towards nightfall. Well, now as you can see, it is nightfall now. Let's go ahead and go through the steps of setting up the EQ system for the Seestar. Now, keep in mind, there is a certain color light that you will be looking for. When it's in EQ mode, it will show up as a green flashing light instead of the orange one. That's how you know when you're in EQ mode versus alt azimuth. And the way to get into the EQ mode is heading in towards the other settings, and you want to make sure that your firmware says 4.27. That's how you know you have the correct firmware that you're going to be working with. Got the anti-dew on, and we're going to go over to advanced features. So into advanced features, we're going to go down and find mount mode, and I already have it in EQ mode right now, but the one things we're going to look at is the step process. So first, please tilt this as the following picture of the Seestar and keep the power on facing up and pointed towards the north. So for this one here, the power button is going to be on the front hand side, as north is this way for me, and you can see a bit of a angle graph down below. This is where you can find and tilt to your current latitude, which for me is sitting at about 39. So we're gonna have this tilted down, keep going until we get right around that 39, and right there. Now adjust the Seestar to the ground angle until it is consistent with the current latitude. We just did that. And after aligning EQ mode successfully, get polar alignment deviation to adjust the device with a deviation within 1 degree. So very easy. So let's go ahead and hit the get polar alignment deviation. And what's going to happen is this is going to pick a couple of spots in the sky to do some tests of where it's located. So this is going to gather all of the information in regards to it to kind of know exactly where it is in the sky, and it's going to do a little bit of some deviation, and then we can adjust from there. So hopefully the light is not going to kind of ruin everything of exactly where this is pointing in the sky. After I move my cord around there, and it's going to start picking some spots here for just a moment. So we're going to come right back once this is showing up some deviation amounts. All right, so as you can see, here on the screen, we do have our deviation of what we need, and we're actually kind of pretty close right off the bat, surprisingly. We just need to finagle it over just a little bit and bring down the overall, up and down. So the simple adjustments, like I'm just using from my video tripod here. So I'm just going to continue to kind of adjust to where I need to be. And just like that, that's pretty good in itself. I'm going to go ahead and lock down all of the areas needed. And pretty much that's it. You're already set to go. You're in polar alignments. And let's go ahead and find a target. Okay, so now that we're back inside here, let's go ahead and pick a target now. And the target I want to start off with tonight, because I'm going to be picking a couple of these to kind of run throughout the night. We're going to go check out the Monkey Head Nebula. So let's go ahead and go to our Sky Atlas here. I was already in the constellation of Orion. And then as we go further up towards the shield and arm, and there we go. There is NGC 2175. We're going to go ahead and center on that. Hit the go to, let it do its thing, and wait for it to plate solve. We'll go ahead and try and get our first exposure. Alright, so we have plate solve where the monkey head is. I've already gone through the horizontal calibration and stuff like that starting off, so we didn't have to waste any more time. We're going to go ahead and actually try and get a 30-second exposure. This is an emission nebula, so we are going to be turning on our light pollution filter, or our dual narrowband filter that's built into the Seestars. And we're going to hit the live button, and we're going to try and wait 30 seconds and see if we can get our first image here popping in. All right, there we go. We got our first 30-second exposure with the EQ mode now, and that's a first, as a matter of fact. And we can already start to see the shape of the monkey head. It is upside down. So we're just going to let this run for a little bit after a couple of minutes and kind of see what the results are from there. Now, I let the Seestar run throughout the night, and I did have some problems, at least in the first portion, when I was trying to do the Monkey Head Nebula. Not really because of the whole, setup of the EQ mode was the problem. It was kind of just the weather conditions. I had 35 miles an hour wind gusts as a cold front was moving through, so it got really windy to a point, and after 15 minutes, I started to have some weird deviations of the stacking process, and I could show you that what it looks like. You can still see that the monkey head is there, but all the stars kind of look weird. But luckily, after about an hour or so, the winds finally died down. It didn't really have any clouds or anything. It was actually a dry front that just had a bit of some wind behind it. But we ended up going over to the Rosette Nebula after things calmed down, and we got some really good results out of this. This is about an hour and a half of data with 30-second exposures, and if you look on the sides of it, there is no field rotation whatsoever. I did use the AID noise inside of the app to do some minor adjustments. This was just, stacked inside of the app itself with just some minor, adjustments to some brightness and contrast and even some saturation, and it looks wonderful. This is a great setup for this, and for an hour and a half of data, that's pretty darn good. And then throughout the rest of the night, I went over to NGC 4555, which is a galaxy inside of Ursa Major, and I got about 3 hours of data on here, and even started to try and show some HA regions inside of this galaxy. And as you can see, all the stacking was done inside of the app itself, with just some minor adjustments with the brightness, the contrast, and the saturation that you will find inside of the photo editor inside of the Seestar app. So this is a great result here, and just a matter of maybe 1 to 2 minutes of full setup for the EQ mode, and it was very simple, and you were ready to go. See, this is going to be a great start for many people just getting into the hobby, especially for kids. They can easily set this up for EQ mode or even just a regular alt ads mode. It only just takes a few minutes max, and then you're ready to go. I'm definitely going to be seeing a big push in smart telescopes here, I would say probably in the next 5 years, especially for the technology of it to continue to get much better. You're going to see some bigger scopes with it, like the Celestron Origin. That's probably about the biggest smart telescope on the market right now. But you're going to see a little bit more advanced features coming up. And I know ZWO is going to be having some pro versions of the S30 and the S50 here soon. And the rumors about an S70 is, it hasn't been confirmed, but it hasn't been denied either from the CEO. If you happen to see Quib's video when he was doing an interview with the CEO for ZWO. So something is brewing, at least in about I would say the next year or two. So this is a great addition to, someone who is getting into the hobby for this, especially some of the younger generations, especially with some of the kids that I teach during the summer months in space camp. And last year I was bringing in just the Seestar. They were loving that more than actually looking through a telescope. And we were trying to get some things together to do an astrophotography class inside of like one of the STEM programs here and be able to have a couple of these Seestar telescopes for them too so they can use. And not only is it great for the younger generation, it's also for your everyday user. You can take this with you to, camping trips. You can take it on planes. I took my S50 down to Texas for the solar eclipse, and it was perfect. And then now with the S30, it's an even smaller one. I could fit it inside of a backpack. You can take it camping with you to remote locations because you don't need, cellular data to operate it. As long as you have the Wi-Fi attached to the device itself, you're good to go right off the bat. And it's also great for some of the older generations too. Someone, like your grandfather who has an interest in astronomy, but doesn't have, well, they can't lift, big telescopes to do, picture taking or even just bird watching. They can use all that as well. And it's so light and portable. So definitely the smart telescope age is really beginning to come to life, and I'm here for it as well. So, of course, for some people who do astrophotography and they're really deep into it, like I am with other rigs, I mean, this is not going to be your final go-to. It's just going to be a nice little gadget that you can use, whenever you want to. And even when I'm out shooting stuff with my main rig, I had the Seestar out there just kind of just scoping around across the sky, just imaging different things just because it's fun. So I hope this video was a big help to establishing how to set up the EQ mode for the Seestar series. And as I say, it gets a double thumbs up from me. Super simple, easy going. Make sure you have a decent tripod and try and stay out of the heavy winds if you can, like myself. So leave a comment, subscribe, share this video. Be sure to check out my print shop for the sale that's ongoing right now until the 26th. And stay tuned for more videos ahead because soon we're going to be heading off to NEAF. I got some more product videos on the way once they arrive that you think you're going to really love. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers.